Hey there, this is Dave from the Author's Reserve, and today we're going to be talking about this pen here, which is wow, look at that. Um, this is the Pelikan 805, M805 Ocean Swirl. This is a limited edition from 2017. So this is a vintage pen, although this is new old stock. Um, I have had this one on my wish list for quite a while and was waiting for one to come available that was in good condition, new if possible, and reasonably priced. I'll be showing some video here interspersed a little bit, but I want to talk about a new format that I'm going to be doing for long-term reviews of intermediate and high-end pens. And this one I would definitely consider one of the high-end pens. It's a Grail pen, and for me it was something that I've been wanting to get a hold of for quite a while. Uh, Essentially, the format that we have been using has worked out okay, and it's kind of a tried and true format. A lot of people use it, and that is to talk a little bit about the pen and then do some writing or some measurements, size comparisons with pens that you might already have, so you have an idea, some context, and then do a writing sample with it. And I think that's okay for my like pocket pens and the more affordable ones, even the starter pens. But as far as intermediate and high-end pens are concerned, I mean, isn't that gorgeous? Sorry, getting so distracted by this. Uh, for those pens, if you're going to be forking out, a month's worth of rent or mortgage, a down payment on a car for a pen, for God's sakes, then you want to have a little more of an in-depth review. So what I'm going to be doing is part of the current format that we have now. So I'll be doing the introduction about the pen, the weights and measurements, and then some size comparisons. Maybe doing a writing sample, but maybe not, because I will dedicate the next 2 weeks or so, 2 weeks, 20 days, somewhere in there, to this one pen. And we're going to start with this Pelikan. Uh, During that period, I will change inks on it in order to give it a full test, try it on some different papers, and also do a bunch of long writing sessions with it. And then that will give me an idea of how well it fills, how easy it is to fill it, how easy it is to clean it out, and a little bit about the type of the ink that it likes. So as far as the inks are concerned, we're going to start out with Waterman Serenity Blue. And I'm going to use the same inks for all of these long-term tests. Well, 3 of the same inks. This one here is very neutral ink. It's neither dry nor is it lubricated. It has, basic uh, kind of a zero profile. So this will be the baseline ink, and will let me know if there are any issues with the pen without masking them, because the ink has its own characteristics. Uh, if the ink or if the pen seems to write dry with this neutral ink, then I will switch to Parker Wink Black, which is a drier ink. And you might think, well, if it's writing dry with this neutral one, then why don't you switch to a wetter ink? Well, I want to push the pen to its limits and really see if what I'm experiencing with the Waterman Serenity Blue is the pen itself or is something else. And by switching to a drier ink, if the problem gets worse, then yes, it is something about the pen that prefers to have a wetter ink. And then, so after trying that, then I would switch over to the Aurora Black. And the Aurora Black is a wetter ink. Now, if the pen initially starts out with Serenity Blue and feels like it's a little too wet, then I'll switch over to the Aurora to push it to its limit and see if there's really a problem with the wetness of the pen, and then switch to Parker. After deciding, if there's a problem with the pen, and if once I've, like, for instance, checked to see, okay, yes, it does really write wetter with the Aurora, and I switch to the Parker and it seems to be writing nicely after that, then great. I can choose a different ink that has the same characteristics as the drier Parker, maybe one that's in the same color way as the pen, or just whatever feels right. Maybe I'll even stick with the Parker, I don't know. The pen will tell me what it wants. If, however, the pen still writes weird after being on the Aurora and the Quink and the Serenity Blue, then I'll think to myself, maybe this needs some nib tuning. And so I'll evaluate that. If the tines are too close or too far apart, then, those are some minor operations I can take care of myself. But if it seems like the pen is beyond my capabilities for doing any tuning, then I will pretty much end the experiment there and get this in a queue to go see a nibmeister at some point. I'll report back where I'm at each phase of this through some, I'm going to do some YouTube shorts to do the updates on these. And then at the end, do a full review and kind of go through my notes and what I learned about the pen over time. And at that point, I'll also have had some time to try to find better prices or maybe some deals on these. Or if I'm not going to keep the pen, I might even just like let people know that I'm going to keep, put it up for sale. But that's basically how I'm going to do the long-term evaluations of pens from now on. As far as the YouTube shorts are concerned, let me know what you feel about that. I I'm not a big fan of the YouTube shorts. I'm from a generation where we didn't really have a problem with attention spans. Well, we did. We've always had ADHD as a race, or a species. But we didn't have the media that made problems worse. And so anytime I see a band of YouTube shorts, I always close that band and get on to the real content, so to speak. But if it's something that you folks think would be interesting and you want me to like contribute to that, I'm happy to do that. They'll be pretty short, of course, and won't take too much effort on my part to post those. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to start out with the Waterman Blue, as I said. Let me tell you a little bit about this pen. As I mentioned, it came out in 2017, and this is a beautiful colorway. Now, there is a way to get the... this is one problem I see with a lot of, like pretty much every fountain pen that's made out of a resin that has a pattern in it. You're never going to get the line up. And I think that's just one of those things that us as pen enthusiasts have learned to accept. And I really wish that there was a pen maker out there who refused to accept that and decided, okay, I'm going to make a pen where the patterns in the material line up when you cap it. Very difficult problem to solve, otherwise people would have done it already. But if you are able to accomplish that, imagine what a change in the market you would make. At any rate, so this colorway is called Ocean Swirl, and you can definitely see why. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It's a notorious pen, and the reason for that is when it came out, Pelikan sent out a bunch of marketing materials that had beauty photos of them, beauty shots of these pens, and this is the only part that they showed. Then when these things started showing up on people's doorsteps and they were noticing, oh my gosh, there's a whole bunch of black on this, and some people, almost their entire pen was black. Some people, almost their entire pen was was Ocean Swirl, and there was only a thin strip of black. It just really depended on the pen. They were all very unique. I saw a collection, where was that? Maybe it was the Pelican Perch, where they had a picture of like a half dozen or maybe 10 of these, all looking completely different. So I think that's kind of part of the excitement, is like, well, what is my pen going to look like when I finally see it? Um, and I just think it's gorgeous. Now, when people got those, they took to social media, as they do, as we do. I'm not going to blame anybody for, things that I do, um, glass houses and bricks and all, um, and complained about it. And so this pen got a bad rap, and it was a black eye, um, uh, on Pelican there for a while. And I think they lost some trust in the market because they didn't show both sides of the story. And I think it's a little bit ironic that that sort of backlash has now made this one of Pelican's most valuable vintage pens. The prices of these now are 2 to 3 to 4. I've seen it up to 5 times the original MSRP, which I think was about $670 US. I got this one for less than 2 times, so it's about 1.5 times the original price. But if you include inflation and um, everything that goes along with holding on to something for a while, like paying for shelf space, I feel like I got a deal. I bought this from Lost Pen, or Missing Pen, sorry, and it's my second purchase from them, from Rolf, and it's a pretty amazing little company that he's got going there. Um, you can definitely find some items that are hard to find anywhere else. This is new old stock. This hasn't been owned or inked up before. I have inked it up. You'll see me doing an unboxing, and in fact, I'll roll that now. And this is the first time that I am actually going to be touching the pen and evaluating it. But earlier this week, I had opened it up for this video that you're seeing now, and I didn't have any Waterman Serenity Blue yet, so I wound up loading it up with some Parker Quink black, and it did right on the dry side. So I'm going to go back to the neutral Serenity Blue and see what happens with that. So I'm kind of not following my own procedure just yet, but I will. Um, I've only written about 3 pages with this so far. Um, I still have yet to do Quick Brown Fox, but this is my first 800 series Pelikan. This is my, I think, fourth Pelikan pen, if you include one ballpoint pen. And the other one that was notable is an M1000, just your standard black and gold model of that. And although I really love the pen as far as the size and the feel is concerned, the M1000 has a bit of a soft nib, which I felt uncomfortable writing with for long periods of time. Um, it it is the very definition of wet noodle. And I had heard that, and so actually I didn't want to buy an 800 series for fear that it would be the same experience. But I had heard from other people that the Pelikan 800 series is a completely different pen as far as what the nib feels like. It does have an 18 karat gold nib, so that made me a little bit skeptical. But take a look at this. It is just stunning. And yes, that's one of the things I wanted to make sure that for you pen uh, aficionados are concerned. It does have the one chick in the logo. Um, over time, Pelikan has changed the number of chicks. I think it was up to 5 at one point. But at this point in 2017, it was a single chick. And I think they're right now back to the single chicks as well. If you didn't see it, there's a little chick that the mama pelican is feeding. The finial also has that same logo with the single chick. And of course, the requisite pelican beak or bill. I guess it's a bill. And I guess since I've got it this close up, you can take a look at that. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? I have some still shots that I've done here where the pen looks like it is glowing. It doesn't glow, but it just captures the light in just the right way that it gives the illusion of it glowing. You know, this would have been interesting to see in a gray colorway because it would look like the surface of the moon. But I really do see ocean waves there. It makes me homesick for my little grass shack in Hawaii. um, I haven't always been in Colorado, but yeah, it's just really gorgeous. So that's it for the history of this pen and where I got it. And I'm looking forward to doing some long writing sessions with this as my first pen. So I'm going to ink it up with the Waterman here. And I won't have to go through the whole explanation of how a piston filler works because this is more of the advanced pen, but it is a German pen, so you're going to find that it is clockwise to fill, counterclockwise to expel. 18 karat gold nib, as I mentioned, and an ebonite feed. I'll do the measurements here. Okay. All right. So there we go. This is the beginning of the test. The date is April 4th. And I'll do updates, of course, as I mentioned in shorts. And within the next 2 weeks, I'll have the conclusion of the review on this. Once I do, I will post it right up here. Let me see, right here. And you can go ahead and click on that. If you don't see anything showing up in that corner, it means that you're full screen on an iPad or I haven't posted one yet. When we get to the end of the second part of this, I will do a giveaway for the Pelikan Inio. I also have a set of ink that will go with this, and I might also include a Pelikan ballpoint for that giveaway. But for now, just hold on until I get to the second part of that video, and we'll talk again later. If you found any of this information interesting or informative, please give the video a thumbs up. If you wouldn't mind, I would really appreciate you subscribing to the channel, and that way you'll get the updates on when I post an update to this review. And if you are in any of the giveaways, that's also a good way to stay informed on if you are selected as one of the giveaway winners. Thanks for watching, and go out and write something.